I was arguing with a conservative Christian named Matt, and I criticized the Old Testament God for ordering genocides. Matt responded,
Wait a minute, you justified World War II and the dropping of the atomic bomb on Hiroshima.
Right, as the lesser of two evils.
Then you're saying that because God slaughters the Amalekites, that is not a just war, but we can drop an atom bomb on Hiroshima and kill millions of children and mothers, but that's just.
I mean, the Japanese were so gung-ho, they weren't gonna give up. Even after the first bomb was dropped, they still wouldn't give up. That's how drastic measures had to be taken.
I pointed out there is a difference between a just war and genocide. Harry Truman did not order all the Japanese people to be slaughtered after their surrender. There is, of course, some debate on whether the bombs should have been dropped. Here's what General Charles Sweeney, the pilot who dropped the bomb on Nagasaki, had to say at a Veterans Day speech in my hometown some years ago. I taped his speech.
Unfortunately, some of our youngsters who are now in their 40s, perhaps 50s even, were taught incorrect history in the 60s and in the 70s, and they were taught by professors who were incorrectly advised. For example, revisionist historians whose name I won't mention right here, because if I said what I would like to say, I would probably be imprisoned immediately. For example, a couple of these men have said on television, and certainly in their classrooms, have said that if an invasion took place in Japan, that we would have lost only 40,000 men. Now that's contrary to every military estimate we had over there. More likely, somewhere about from 200,000 to 400,000 or 500,000 men would have been killed in an invasion of Japan. That we wanted to destroy their culture. That's the last thing in the world we wanted to do to any country. And they were the forces of evil, the Japanese warlords. Not the Japanese people necessarily, the Japanese warlords were the forces of evil. He said that we wanted to destroy their culture. Now, Mr. Stimson, Secretary of War, we didn't have Secretary of Defense in those days, he was the top military civilian, received the target list for the use of nuclear weapons. And these were 5 cities that had been spared prior appreciable standardized bombing or regular bombing, fire bombing, what have you. And on the top of that list was Kyushu, and then Hiroshima, Fukushima, Nagasaki, and Nagasaki. And the minute he saw that, he said, scratch Kyushu. He says, that's the seat of their culture. That city will never be bombed by nuclear weapons or by any other type of bomb, and the other place that will never be bombed will be the Emperor's Palace. Now, they were the seats of Japanese culture, and here is a senior member of our government saying, we absolutely don't want to destroy their culture. And yet this man doing this thing in your museum is putting it in that we did. I said to myself as just a young kid, wouldn't it be nice if we had a magic wand so that our forces could, say, just drop a bomb or bombs on a city like Essen or Regensburg or Berlin and wipe it out. And we were not doing that. We were sending hundreds of bombers over, dropping iron bombs and not getting that kind of results. I was only asking for a magic wand that would do that. Now here's a man telling, well, while he was talking to me, he picked up a handful of that earth and he said, we're working on one bomb that will turn a whole city into this. And he tossed it into the air and let it fall to the ground. Well, I was aghast, of course. If that were to happen, I'd get more than my magic wand. I wouldn't just get one portion of a city or something like that. So, but the point was to stop the killing. Wouldn't it be nice if we could stop the killing? And the first bomb was a uranium bomb. The second bomb was a plutonium bomb. Now, the Japanese didn't quit on August 6th. That's when the bomb was dropped in the morning. Japanese knew what it was. The Japanese had scientists in their country who had trained at Caltech and MIT and were friends of our own scientists. The genie was out of the bottle. The whole world of scientists, all over the world, the whole world of scientists knew what this was all about. And their scientists knew what it was all about also. They have used that excuse, well, they were so surprised they didn't know what happened. They knew what happened. But they didn't quit that night. And they didn't quit the 7th. And they didn't quit the 8th. We had one more bomb, and Tibbets said to me on the 6th, the night of the 6th, he said, we'll go on the 9th with the second bomb, and you'll command the mission, provided they don't quit in the meantime. We fully expected them to quit. Well, they didn't, so we went on the 9th, and Kokoro was our target that morning, but because of weather problems and other things, we were forced to go to Nagasaki. That was the second and only bomb, and the following day, the emperor told his warlords that his people could no longer bear the unbearable. Even then, they wouldn't quit. The warlords wouldn't quit. They fought with him. He was quitting from their broadcasters to the Japanese people and tell them that he was quitting from their inability to bear the unbearable. Even then, they stole the tape so that he couldn't broadcast it, and there was a fight over it, and finally the emperor won out, and they did go on the air and say that they were going to stop the war, end the war. But I'm just telling you these little anecdotes to say how important it is for us to know why we were at war. You know, why it used to gall my heart to say to myself, what are we doing out here? Why are our men getting killed by the kamikazes on the Navy ships? Why are our naval sailors being killed anyway in all the different kinds of ships? Why were our Marines decimated on Iwo and on Okinawa as well as other places? Why were our soldiers being killed in such large numbers in the Okinawa thing? Why are these kids out here? We're out there on account of Pearl Harbor. And these guys won't quit. They don't know that they're beaten. In fact, General Amani, A-M-A-N-I, said, we will fight with every grandmother and every grandfather. You'll put a blade on the end of your broom. If you kill one American, you'll go to heaven immediately. And in the final analysis, we will have 60 million beautiful suicides, banzai. It's okay if you want it that way, but it's not a very good way to run a country. And we didn't want people on either side being killed anymore. Japanese people, incidentally, were tickled to death, men in the street, tickled to death when the war ended.